All right, my friends, today we are doing back to basics, like way basics. People probably my age and older will think this video is ridiculous, but unfortunately in the real world, this is a problem that we have to deal with on an everyday basis. Now, if you come from another country and you're used to the metric system and you have to learn the standard system here in America, SAE, what's it, Imperial English, whatever it's called, where you're just using a standardized system, no metric measuring. I shouldn't be teaching this, but someone's got to say something, because for me, if you are an American and you graduated school and don't know how to use a ruler or you can't measure, there's something wrong with our school systems. And I'm going to break it down. We have a chart that I made that we always have one like laying around the wall here to kind of help people go. And it's funny because I got to a point wherever we interview someone, the first thing I say is, before we get going, you have to be able to know how to use a ruler, because we measure every day, whether it's fabrication, upholstery, body work, you're always measuring for something. We'll go over some of the areas that you do measure. This video here, I don't know where to put it because it's a remedial video, but every single thing we do every day needs it. Now, we're not going over decimal measuring, we're not going over metric, and we're not going over like machinist measurements. And there's a whole genre of different measurements, but for doing fabrication, this is the easiest, and you need to know this. I'll tell you some funny stories before we get going on this that I think you'll like. So one time we had a guy come in and I said, before we get going, I don't want to waste your time or mine. You need to be able to use a ruler, because we measure every single day. You need to be able to use tape measures. You need to be able to yardsticks. Everything we do, we measure all day long. And he says, of course I know how to use a ruler. So after a 20-minute interview, he comes up and says, about that measurement, he goes, I know what the big lines are, but I don't know the small lines, but I am a quick learner. And I said, you're 54 years old and you don't know how to use a ruler and you're in the trades. That's not a quick learner. And we run into this every single day. A lot of things that we'll run into this for is you hire a younger person out of school, and in schools now they use a lot of metric. And in our shops, in most shops, you use a little bit of both. You have to kind of know both. And you have to be able to know, like if you put sockets away, what's the difference between a 3/4, an 1/8 inch, a 3/8, all the different sizes. And it's very important when you're in a shop to know this, because you could tell quickly, because we'll have some young guy or girl go put the tools away and all the sockets and wrenches will be in the wrong place because they don't know the Americanized system. Metric is easy, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You kind of know where you go from there. And I get it that the American system is a little different, but you got to learn it. You really have to know this when you're working in the trades. So let's go over this, and I'm going to show you a little bit about it. Now with this chart, basically we put 0 to 1. So this would be 1 inch blown up giant. We have 1/64, 1/32, 1/16, 1/8, 1/4, and 1/2. Now when you look at a ruler, you have these little lines in between here. So if you took from 33 to 34 is 1 inch. And if we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That means this is a 16th. There's 16 lines within that 1 inch. So if we go to our chart here, this is our 1/16. So if you look at it, you have 1/16, 2/16, 3/60, and so on all the way across here. They also have rulers that are only 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and they have them that are 32nd and 64th. For us, 64th is as fine as we need to go when we're doing most fabrication work, because it's a matter of just lightly sanding a piece and it's gone. If you were to imagine here a 64th, so if this is a 16th, half of this would be a 32nd, and half of that would be a 64th. So we're talking some pretty tight measurements there. And this will kind of break it down for you, not only just using the ruler so you know how to talk about it, but also if you're using American tools and you have to put them away. So if you want to grab a socket, so say someone says, hey, can you grab me the 9/16 socket? And you're wondering, how big is this? Where does this fit on our chart? So if we go to 9/16, we can see there's nothing above here. It stops here, so we know that if you're looking for a tool, you're going to go with the 9/16, because an 18/32 or a 36/64 is all the same thing. So you don't need anything other than that 9/16 socket. You could also go and they say, hey, grab me a 13/16 wrench. Now you could say, what size is a 13/16? Well, we're going to go to our 1/16, and we're going to go all the way down to 13/16. So this is a 13/16 wrench. There's nothing above it. So when you cut it down, 26/32 or 52/64, is the same size, but they would go by a 32nd. Now, if you're gonna grab a 3/4 inch wrench, you're gonna go right to 1/4 inches, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So 3/4 cut in half is 6/8, cut in half is 12/16, cut in half is 24/32, and cut in half is 48/64. All of those are the exact same size. Now, when you're grabbing a tool, most likely someone's not gonna say, hey, grab me a, let's go, where can we go for one that's here? A 2/64. If they did, you'd have to do the math and say a 2/64 is actually 1/32. You really don't find tools that size, but if you were measuring and they told you to take 2/64 off of a piece of wood when you're sanding it or a piece of metal when you're grinding it, you could also say, oh, 2/64 is also 1/32. So if you had a ruler that had 30 seconds, you could actually look at that and measure it. So this ruler does not have 30 seconds. So what you would have to do in a case like that is if they said, please shave off 1/32 and you're at a ruler that has 16ths, you'd have to look and say 1/16. So 1/32 is half of 1/16. These marks here are each a 16, so you'd have to actually go and mark half of that. And you can see that's a very small, minute measurement, but when you're doing fine-tuned detail work, those measurements are super important. One of the most common things we run into when we're doing fabrication is people don't realize the detail work that is needed in what we do. You need to sand a piece of wood or grind a piece of metal, and someone hires you and you're saying, we're gonna get that within a 1 inch, right? Within 1 inch. That means your variation could be plus or minus that inch. That's huge. There's nothing that we do that allows for a gap that big. Also, if you went down and said, we need a 1/2 inch variance. So now if you were to mark this and then sand, a 1/2 inch is a huge gap. Some of your gaps on your car are only 3/16 of an inch. So if someone said 1/4 inch increments, sanding a 1/4 inch off. So what ends up happening is a lot of people think the tolerances. And when I say tolerances, that would be if I was to give you, now I'm Eddie Barrett with Atomic Autoworks Garage, and we are a DIY based behind the scenes look into our industry and what we do. And we feel that these videos are essential for people looking to get in our trade, and they'll give you a leg up and make your life a little easier when you walk into a place that you're doing fabrication work, whether it's an auto body shop, a fabrication shop, an upholstery shop, or even a body shop. This knowledge will really help you out. This stuff today probably isn't going to help you much out with machine work because machinists measurements are a lot more difficult and a lot more challenging, and you have to have special tools to do those. But if you're looking into our trade just to get in there, this will give you a leg up and get you going. Put a mark. So if this is the edge of a piece of wood or metal here, and I said, mark it a 1/4 inch and sand it, and if it's that close, you're good. That's a huge gap. Most of the time, we're gonna want a 16th, a 32nd, or on high-end work, you're down to a 64th, and it's a very fine detail. Usually, when you're dealing with that close of a tolerance in wood or metal, except for machine work, you're gonna actually make it proud a little bit. So if someone tells you that they want you to be within a 32nd, you're probably gonna bring it to a 16th, and at that point, lightly sand it to bring it down to that mark because the tolerance is really close. But when you're doing high-end work, that's the tolerances that we need. So when someone comes to us and they only know an inch, 2 inches, they're not going to have the detail work that you need in this trade. So it's very important to know these measurements and kind of drill them into your head how important they are. Now I know you're going to ask me, where do I need this? Give me some specific applications. So you heard me say the gap on a car is 3/16 of an inch usually. So when we're building show cars, especially older cars, the newer cars, the gaps are a little bit better, but on older cars, the gaps are horrendous. So we have to actually go through and TIG weld or weld the edges of them and then file them. And we make little gauges that are exactly 3/16 of an inch. Why are they 3/16 of an inch? Well, 3/16 of an inch is enough that all your door openings articulate and everything's good. Your gap's big enough so nothing rubs. But when you put your primer and body work and everything on it, it tightens up a little bit so you have a nice consistent gap. And we'll actually file that so it's very even. So it's very important to use that. Now, when you get into fabrication work, such as auto body or fabrication, metal, well, actually we'll start with metal fabrication, you need to measure everything. When you're building a chassis, measurements are so critical. Tolerances these days are way tighter than they used to be. I remember people would build hot rods and they have 5/8 of an inch tolerance from left to right side of the car, which is, it's just insane to me. We like to have like a 64, so everything is squared up and true and perfect. If you are in upholstery and you're doing a fabrication as far as making wood templates or making wood panels, any of that stuff, we always start from the center and we work our way out and make sure things are symmetrical. So we're gonna snap a center line in a project, and you see me do this a million times on patterns and different things that we'll do is we snap a center line in it, and then we will measure out and make sure they're the same. If we have a seat that we're making foam for it, we start with the center line, and then we work our way out and make sure they're exactly the same. And you want your tolerances right on, because the closer your tolerances are, the better chance you have for perfection and a good high quality end result. So I hope this video helps you guys. I know, again, it's very remedial, but simple charts like this sometimes help people go through and realize what's what. And if you want to take a screenshot of this and keep this, it's gonna work for you. You won't even have to question it. If someone tells you to grab a 1/2 inch wrench, well, actually, if someone told you to grab a 32nd 64th, then you're thinking in your head, okay, let's cut that in half. 16 32nds, cut that in half. 8 16ths, cut that in half. 4/8, cut that in half. 2/4, cut that in half. 1/2. Now you have a chart that simplifies it for you, and eventually you just know this, you don't even think about it, and you are really good at doing fine detail work. Again, the reason we're doing this, we want people to realize the importance of detail work and finesse and doing things properly in the industry. And before you go to a shop, you should know these things. So take the time, watch our videos, maybe go through and grid this out. If you were to do this a few times, it would lock in your head and you would actually know this without even thinking about it. So please, if you like our videos, remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, and ring the bell. Thank you.